New beginnings. Jamie sat at her kitchen table, staring at the empty bowl before her. It had been 3 weeks since she lost her job, and the only thing she could afford was soup and bread. She picked up the last piece of bread, considering how long it had been since she had a proper meal. The divorce from her cheating husband had been brutal, not just emotionally but financially as well. He was the owner of the company she had dedicated years to, and losing her job felt like a double blow. As she sighed and pushed the bowl away, her phone rang. Glancing at the screen, she saw the unfamiliar number. With a mix of hope and dread, she answered, "Hello? Is this Jamie Parker?" A cheerful voice asked. "Yes, it is," she replied, her heart racing. "I'm calling from Green Solutions. We received your application and would like to offer you a position. How soon can you start?" She could hardly believe what she was hearing. A job offer? Out of town? Her heart soared. "I can start as soon as possible, thank you so much." "Great. We'll send you the details via email. Welcome to the team." After hanging up, Jamie leaped from her chair, an overwhelming sense of relief flooding through her. This was her chance, a new beginning, a fresh start. She quickly gathered her meager belongings, tossing a few clothes into a duffel bag and grabbing the last of her savings. The thought of starting over filled her with excitement. She filled her car with gas, noting the road ahead. It was going to be an 8-hour drive, but she didn't care. The darkness of her past was behind her. She was moving forward. The clock struck 2 a.m. as Jamie hit the road. The hum of the tires against the asphalt was soothing, and she found herself lost in thought about her new job, new city, and new life. As the miles passed, however, fatigue began to set in. Her eyelids grew heavy, and she fought against sleep, determination fueling her. Suddenly, the loud thud of her tire hitting the emergency lane jolted her awake. "That was close," she muttered, gripping the wheel tighter. A few minutes later, a bright neon sign caught her eye. Hotel Oasis. It looked inviting, so she decided to stop for a quick break. She parked her car and walked into the crowded lobby, feeling a wave of comfort wash over her. After booking a room, she hurried towards the elevator, just as the doors began to close. "Hold the door! Hold the door!" she called out, running toward it. A strong hand caught the door, and she stepped inside, breathless. "Which floor?" asked the gentleman inside, a tall, drop-dead gorgeous man with tousled dark hair and piercing blue eyes. "Third floor," she managed to reply, trying to sound casual. "My room is on the same floor," he said, flashing a smile that made her heart flutter. As they stepped off the elevator, Jamie couldn't help but steal glances at him. He was undeniably handsome, but she reminded herself to play it cool. She was here to start anew, not get distracted. "Hi, I'm Tony," he said, turning back to her with a friendly smile. "If you're not too busy, I'll be down at the bar having a few drinks. You're welcome to join me." Her heart raced. "I'll think about it," she replied, trying to sound nonchalant, but her smile betrayed her excitement. In her room, Jamie freshened up, her heart racing. After weeks of loneliness, she felt a glimmer of hope. An hour later, she decided to head down to the bar. The warm atmosphere welcomed her, and she spotted Tony at the counter sipping on a brandy. "Over here, have a seat," he called out, waving her over. They chatted about their lives, their struggles, and before long, Jamie felt a connection she hadn't felt in years. It was refreshing to laugh and share stories, especially after the heavy weight she had carried for so long. Excusing herself to the restroom, she entered and looked in the mirror. "Yes, yes, yes," she whispered, feeling a thrill of possibility. Suddenly, a giggle interrupted her thoughts. A little girl popped out from behind a stall. "Why are you yelling?" the little girl asked with a cheeky smile. "Shouldn't you be in bed, little lady?" Jamie replied, laughing. "Yep, but I couldn't sleep, so I went on an adventure." The girl's eyes sparkled with mischief, but then her expression turned serious. "You need to leave, Jamie. You're in danger." "Danger?" Jamie asked, puzzled. The girl nodded, gripping Jamie's wrist tightly. "Leave now." Then, as if she had flipped a switch, the girl giggled again and disappeared back into the stall. Shaking her head, Jamie left the restroom, feeling a chill in the air. The bar was eerily quiet now, devoid of the lively crowd. She glanced around, the shadows stretching ominously. Confused, she decided to return to her room. But as she walked, the distance to the elevator felt infinite. "Jamie, you're not going anywhere," a sinister voice echoed behind her. She turned, her heart racing, and saw Tony standing there, his expression darkening. "You're mine, all mine." Suddenly, the ground shook beneath her feet. Jamie struggled to keep her balance, feeling a wave of weakness wash over her. Just as she thought she might fall, the elevator doors opened, and she stumbled inside, only to see Sarah, the little girl, standing there. As the elevator came to a halt at the lobby, the building shook violently. Sarah scooped Jamie onto her back, her tiny frame surprisingly strong. "Hold on!" she shouted, dashing towards the front door. Just as they reached the front entrance, Sarah suddenly stopped, turned, and with surprising strength, tossed Jamie out the door. Jamie landed softly on the ground, the cool night air refreshing against her skin. "Sarah, please come with me," Jamie called out, panic rising in her chest. "I can't go any further, or I will be lost forever," Sarah said, her voice a mix of sorrow and strength. Jamie watched as Sarah's form began to age, taking on the features of her beloved grandmother. "Grandma, it's you!" Jamie gasped, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Yes, sweet pea, now you must wake up," her grandmother said with a soft smile. But just as Jamie processed those words, she felt a wave of dizziness wash over her. Jamie's vision blurred, and she collapsed outside the front entrance of the hotel, the world fading to black around her. When she awoke with a start, she found herself in a sterile hospital room, the smell of antiseptic filling her senses. Panic gripped her as she looked around. A doctor stood beside her, concerned. "Thank God you're awake," he said. "You were in a bad car accident. You must have fallen asleep at the wheel." "What happened?" Jamie coughed, her throat dry. "An anonymous woman called the police and reported the crash. She said her name was Sarah," the doctor replied. Tears filled Jamie's eyes as the memories flooded back. The little girl, her grandmother. Was it all real? Had Sarah saved her? Fast forward 6 months, and Jamie found herself thriving in her new job at Green Solutions. She had moved into a cozy apartment, filled with light and warmth. Each day brought new challenges and triumphs, and she was learning to believe in herself again. One day, while rubbing her stomach, she felt a fluttering sensation. "I can't believe it," she murmured, feeling the reality of her pregnancy sink in. She smiled, picturing the future. As she prepared to meet her charming co-worker, a thought crossed her mind. She would name her daughter Sarah, after her beloved grandmother who had guided her in her darkest hour. It felt right, like a tribute to the strength that had brought her here. Jamie's heart swelled with hope, knowing that even after the darkest nights, the dawn would always come. She was ready for the new adventure ahead, filled with love and light. If you would like to hear more amazing stories, be sure to subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification button.